What's the difference between investing and gambling? Now, they both carry a certain degree of risk, but in reality, they're both the complete opposite. Let me explain. The longer term you gamble, the higher your odds are of losing. The longer term you invest, the higher your odds are of winning. But there's a lot more to it, so let me explain exactly what the difference is. If we haven't met yet, my name is Mitch Goldberg. I'm a financial advisor and a business owner. This YouTube channel is all about financial education. Hey, I'm not so puritanical that I have anything against you if you want to go to a casino and have a good time, roll the dice, and just enjoy yourself for an evening. I have no problem with that. But the problem I have is when people actually compare a gambling activity to that of investing, because it's literally not at all like investing. In fact, it's one of the stupidest analogies that I've ever heard, and I really want to clear that up. Gamble responsibly. I don't gamble because I work too hard for my money. Let's take a lesson from that fictional movie, Casino, directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Sharon Stone. Listen, take a look what happened there, right? Gambling, for them, did not have a very happy outcome. Now, I realize that there's nothing more exciting than buying Bitcoin at, let's say, 4,000 and selling it in a few days at 8,000, or buying that great biotech company that just suddenly comes out with a new drug, they get an FDA approval on it, and the stock soars. Those are great, but basically, by and large, investing, I would really more compare it to watching paint dry. But in this day and age, when instant gratification has literally permeated through everything, I think that's making it a lot harder to be a long-term investor. I think it's making it a lot harder for new investors to get started. Now, I speak with novice investors all the time, and I really want to impress upon them, just like everybody else, that it's really important to think long-term, and that instant gratification should have nothing to do with your long-term investment plans for your retirement. But it's hard to explain to somebody that investing $500 a month, let alone $50 or $100 a month, that you have to invest a little bit at a time, and maybe in 30 years you're going to have this big pot of excess money that you're going to be able to use to pay for your retirement expenses. So back to the difference between gambling and investing. Gambling is a numbers game. When you're dealt a blackjack hand at the casino, it's simply just a matter of numbers that are stacked against you in a game that was created by people who have inherently designed that game so that eventually you will lose money. Okay? The odds are against you, which is why casinos make money and gamblers lose money. On the other hand, when it comes to investing, let's say you buy a stock. I'll give you an example. Let's say a Disney, who arguably has the greatest content library in the world. Okay, you've got a CEO working very hard to drive that company, to improve the profits of that company. You've got artists, you've got media people, you have just a whole host of experienced professionals, you've got theme parks, you've got this company that is working to create more value. You have a company that has the adoration of the public. You have a company that pays a dividend. You have a company with a long-term operating history that has created value from literally sketches by a guy named Walt Disney, who used to make these little sketches of this little mouse and these little black and white cartoons. So it's a completely different ballgame when you invest in something, because you have what I consider corporate management, which is the most important thing that you could look at when you invest in anything, that is working very hard to create value for themselves and for you as a shareholder for going along for the ride. But there's no guarantee that you'll actually make money in your investment. In fact, you could actually lose money in your investment, and even time might not necessarily bail you out when you invest. But that doesn't mean that the odds are actually stacked against you from the minute you get out of bed every day. So that's the difference between investing and gambling. So the next time some nitwit, some dim-witted nitwit says, oh, investing is just a gamble, no, actually, they're wrong. To them, it's a very unsophisticated way to look at things. Investing means you have the odds in your favor over the long term when you do it right. When you gamble, there really is no doing it right. Hey, listen, we all hear about these gamblers that once in a while, once in a blue moon, somebody makes a lot of money. But how many of them really keep the money? And how many people do you know who've actually made serious money gambling? Probably not many. But how many people do you know who've made serious money investing over the long term? Well, now we're talking about results. That's the difference between investing and gambling. I hope this video helped you out. Please subscribe, thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.